to be talking about the production budget. We always start the production budget with demand. What do you think you can sell? Where are you going to find that? In the sales budget. So, the good news is there's probably a sales budget. The bad news is it's wrong. Why is that? Because the sales budget is a guess. It's an estimate. Nobody really knows. Hopefully, it's close. So why do I tell you that? The reason I tell you that is because you have to make a decision knowing that the sales budget is wrong, but probably close. What do you think you'll do? Produce what you expect to sell? Produce a bit more than you expect to sell? Or produce a bit less than you expect to sell? What do you like? Most businesses produce a little bit more. Why? Because if you're going to be wrong, you want to have a little extra. What would happen if you were wrong in the other direction? You didn't make quite enough. Well, you wouldn't have excess capacity. You wouldn't have stuff sitting around that could get broken or stolen or get out of date. But if you run out of stock, where do the customers go? To your competitors. And when they go to your competitors, they might have a good experience and not come back. And so that is a much more serious problem than having a few extra. So businesses, when they plan for production, they produce a little bit more than they think they're going to sell because they know their sales forecast is probably wrong. And if it's wrong in the hallelujah direction, we sold a little bit more, they want to be able to satisfy that demand. So the question really is not will they produce a little bit more than their sales budget? They will. But how much more than the sales budget? And management will create that policy, and every firm will be a little bit different. So for a class like this, we'll have to tell you what the policy is. The policy typically depends on two things. One is how easy it is to get more. If it's pretty easy to get more, your supplier is across the street. You don't need a big cushion. You don't need a lot extra. But if you have to ship it in from Singapore and it takes 6 weeks on a boat, you need a lot more on hand for potential surprises in the upward direction. Here's an example of 3 possible policies. You could say, I want some percent of next month's sales on hand extra. I want a cushion of that much. Okay. You could say, I want a cushion based on this month's sales. Okay. You could say, I want just $2,000 extra every month. Okay. So the percent of next sales policies are much more likely in a seasonal business than one that has fairly steady demand over the months of the year. So here's what a production budget might look like. It would start with the sales forecast. It would add in that extra cushion that you wanted. We call it the target ending inventory, what you want to have extra on hand in addition to the sales budget. Those two things added together give you the units that you think you need. I need what I'm going to sell plus the cushion. Okay. You're not going to produce what you think you need because you're not out of stock yet, because you have some already on hand. So you need to produce only what you don't already have that will get you up to the units needed. So I did January for you. I started February for you. You finished February. How many units do you need? And how many units do you have on hand at the beginning of February? You need 13,000. You need the sales forecast plus the target. And we already did January up here. And at the end of January, we expected to have 2,000. The end of January and the beginning of February are the same day. Right? January 31st, February 1st, that midnight on that day is exactly the same date. So they would have the ending January and the beginning February is the same. All right. The next lecture is on how to get the materials budget after you've gotten your production budget.